In a hidden corner of Singapore, far from the bustling streets and the constant hum of city life, there existed a place few outsiders ever saw or even knew about. Behind the city's glass towers and the relentless march of progress lay Kampung Air Mata, a village of colourful wooden houses perched on stilts above the soft earth, surrounded by lush greenery, where time seemed to move at its own gentle pace, untouched by the world outside. Here lived Kailan, a curious boy with scuffed knees and wild hair that stuck out in every direction, who found wonder in the smallest things, whether it was the way sunlight danced on puddles or the secret paths only he seemed to notice. Every morning he helped his nenek in the garden, digging his hands into the cool soil, learning the names of every herb and flower, and listening to her gentle laughter as she shared old family secrets. He chased birds from the chilly plants, darting between rows of vegetables, his laughter echoing through the air as the birds scattered, always returning for another playful chase. In the evenings, Kailan would gather with the other children to listen to the elders' stories, tales of mischievous spirits, great floods that once swept through the village, and the wisdom of ancestors who watched over them all. Kailan noticed everything: the creak of the old floorboards beneath his feet, the intricate patterns the rain made as it slid down the wooden window panes, and the way the wind whispered secrets through the cracks in the walls. But lately, he had begun to notice something else: the growing worry on the adults' faces, the way they spoke in hushed tones, glancing nervously at the sky and the river. The village, once his endless playground filled with laughter and adventure, now felt different. A shadow had crept in, casting a quiet unease over the familiar paths and hiding places. And at the center of it all was the heart of their home, the water that flowed beneath their stilt houses, the river that gave them life, and now perhaps carried a secret that would change everything for Kailan and his village. Kampung Air Mata was running out of clean water. The old well yielded less each day, and the river was now a muddy trickle. Gardens wilted, children played less, and daily chores became exhausting puzzles. Kailan saw Nenek rationing water and heard the men's anxious whispers by the well. They tried digging deeper and praying for rain, but nothing changed. One afternoon, Kailan watched a thirsty bird peck at the dry earth and felt a spark of determination. He looked at his wilting village and decided, despite being just a boy, he had to try something. He simply had to. Kailan's resolve grew into an idea as he watched dew on taro leaves and rainwater running off roofs. What if they could collect all the rainwater from every roof and store it? He drew a plan: bamboo gutters leading to big barrels, connecting every house. Excited, he showed Nenek his drawing and explained his vision of capturing every drop. Nenek listened, then smiled, a real, hopeful smile. It was a wild idea, but in Kailan's eyes, she saw hope. Sometimes, hope is all a village needs to begin again. And so Kailan's plan took root. Bolstered by Nenek's gentle encouragement, Kailan felt a spark of courage ignite within him. Her words echoed in his mind, reminding him that even the smallest voice can carry great ideas. With newfound determination, he decided to take a leap and share his vision with those who led the village. The next day, Kailan gathered his drawings and stood before the village elders, his heart pounding in his chest. He presented his plan with trembling hands but a steady voice, hoping they would see the potential in his idea. He spoke passionately about bamboo gutters and rain barrels, explaining how they could collect precious rainwater for everyone. He described how even a simple change could help the whole village during dry seasons. But the elders, set in their ways, dismissed his proposal as nothing more than a child's fantasy. Their skepticism was clear, and their words stung deeply. Kailan's hope faltered as he realized they did not believe in him. Feeling defeated and misunderstood, Kailan trudged home, his dreams weighed down by doubt. He wondered if he had been foolish to believe he could make a difference. That night, as the moonlight filtered through the window, Nenek quietly sat beside him. She placed a comforting hand on his shoulder and spoke softly. "A single seed looks small, but with help, it can grow into a mighty tree." Her words were gentle but powerful, reminding Kalen that every big change starts with something small and fragile. As he listened, Kalen felt a flicker of hope return. He realized that setbacks were part of every journey, and that giving up now would mean letting his dream wither before it had a chance to grow. Staring out the window, Kalen understood that he didn't need everyone's approval right away. Sometimes, the most important thing is to believe in yourself, even when others do not. He decided to start small, just as Nenek had said. He would plant the first seed, literally and figuratively, by building a tiny rainwater collector at home. With determination, Kalen began working on his project, using whatever materials he could find. He knew that actions often speak louder than words, and he hoped his efforts would inspire others to join him. Sometimes, all it takes is one believer to spark a movement. Even if the world doubts you, a single supporter can make all the difference. Kalen wiped away his tears, stood tall, and promised himself he would not give up. This was only the beginning of his journey. Kalen began with his own house, splitting bamboo to make a gutter and placing a clay jar beneath it. For days, the sun blazed and villagers laughed at his contraption, but Kalen waited. Then rain finally came. Water trickled, then poured into the jar, clean and clear. Neighbors gathered, amazed by the simple magic. The sight of water filling the jar inspired others. Ravi, Kalen's friend, asked for help building one for his house. Soon, adults offered tools and barrels, and the idea spread. The village's hope was rekindled, one drop at a time. Kalen's seed had sprouted. The village transformed as everyone joined in. Skepticism faded, replaced by teamwork and purpose. Men harvested bamboo, carpenters shaped gutters, and women cleaned barrels. Even children helped, carrying tools and singing as they worked. Kalen darted from house to house, checking gutters and learning from the elders. There were setbacks, split bamboo, toppled gutters, but now problems were solved together. Laughter and sweat mixed as meals were shared under the banyan tree. The project united the village, turning strangers into teammates. They weren't just building a water system, they were rebuilding their community. Piece by piece, drop by drop, hope returned. After weeks of tireless effort, the bamboo network was finally complete. The villagers, young and old, had worked side by side, their hands weaving together not just bamboo, but hope for a better tomorrow. Every pole, every joint, every knot tied was a testament to their determination and unity. The air buzzed with anticipation as the last piece was set in place, and the community gathered to witness the fruits of their labor. When the first drops of rain finally fell, it was as if the sky itself was celebrating with them. Water trickled, then rushed through the bamboo gutters, winding its way into waiting barrels. Cheers erupted, laughter echoed, and for the first time in many seasons, the village felt the thrill of abundance. People hugged, danced, and watched in awe as the barrels filled, their worries washed away by the rain. Children ran barefoot through puddles, their faces shining with pure joy. They splashed and spun beneath the falling rain, their laughter ringing out like music. For them, the rain was more than water. It was freedom, a promise that their days of thirst and longing were over. As days passed, the transformation was remarkable. Gardens blossomed with new life, vibrant flowers and vegetables thriving in the rich, moist soil. Houses gleamed, freshly washed by the rain, and the entire village seemed to hum with renewed energy. Everywhere you looked, people were tending to their plants, sharing stories and smiling at the simple miracle of water. There was enough water for everyone. No more rationing, no more anxious glances at empty buckets. Families filled their containers with ease, children helped their elders, and the daily struggle for water became a memory. Relief and gratitude filled the air as the village embraced a new sense of security. Smiles bloomed where frowns once lingered, and pride replaced the fear that had haunted their days. The villagers stood taller, their spirits lifted by what they had achieved together. Laughter and conversation filled the evenings as neighbors gathered to celebrate their newfound hope. At the heart of it all was Kalen, once just a boy with scuffed knees and big dreams. Now he was a hero in the eyes of his people, a leader who had inspired change and brought his community together. The villagers celebrated him, not just for his idea but for his courage and kindness. Kalen showed everyone that even the biggest problems could be solved when people joined hands and worked as one. His story became a lesson for all, that unity, creativity, and perseverance could turn dreams into reality. Hope, he taught them, is not something you wait for, it's something you build, together, with courage and community. The villagers learned that their strength lay in each other, and that together they could overcome any challenge. Kampung Air Mata was reborn, its spirit renewed, singing a new song of water and life. The river that once brought tears now brought laughter and joy, weaving a new story for generations to come. And in the heart of Singapore, the village's story whispered on, a gentle reminder that hope can flow where you least expect it, and that sometimes the smallest streams can create the mightiest rivers of change.